Get into his little groove, man, and it was sweet, and it was so nice because it would be really hard to do it with a machine, because each one of us was quantized in a different space. You know what I mean? Like, I'm real far back behind, and the guitar is sitting on top, and you realize that a lot of the grooves that we love have a lot of that happening. You listen to Parliament, it's like everybody's got their own thing going on. You know? So, but that's a cool groove that I like from back in the day.
Mark, aside from your technique and the way you attack the bass and what's actually yours, how much does the gear play? I mean, how much of a role is the preamp in your bass, your wood and your neck, EPS as opposed to whatever? Because I find sometimes when you're playing it can sound, you get a note that sounds good, you can play better. If it don't sound right, it doesn't feel right. So what's
Yeah, well, that's absolutely true. If you're playing and it doesn't sound good, it can get depressing. And if you're playing and it sounds great, that kind of pumps you up, absolutely. And there are other things that'll pump you up too, like an audience who's feeling what you're doing, or musicians who are kind of in tune with you. So there's a lot of things that can put you in that space, but your sound is definitely important. You definitely have to pay attention to your sound. I usually don't like to focus on the gear because I think a lot of people like to use that as a crutch. Man, I'm not playing, let me change my amp, and it's not really the amp. But if you're doing your homework in terms of playing your instrument, your amp can really, that's what people are going to hear, and that's what kind of conveys your sound to people, so you do have to pay attention to it. For me, I have a preamp in here that it exaggerates the highs and the lows, and it really became part of what I do here. I'll play you with it and without, and you can hear the difference. Oh, never mind. That was with it off. This is with it on. So I just realized I had to do it the whole time. So what I think is important, and I just kind of proved it without really realizing it, it don't really matter. You know what I mean? It makes you feel better. And like if I was in the middle of a show and I discovered that and turned it on, whoa, that would have sent me to the next thing. But the most important thing is to realize that they're all acoustic instruments. They're just not loud. You know what I mean? So you have to find a sound with the bass first, and then everything else just adds to that. You know what I mean? Because it was sounding okay, and then I hit that switch and was like, oh, that's the next level. You know what I mean? But I wasn't dependent on it. I think that's really what I'm trying to say, is that get your thing together, and then let this stuff like really enhance it. You know what I mean? And make it fun. Let me try this and let me try that. But don't let that be the way you stop, and don't let that be the thing that you focus on all the time.
You have the tricky basses by both the Fender and the cylinders. Do you have preference with the qualities of those instruments?
Well, I just got the cylinder, and I've been fooling around with it, but I don't have enough experience with it to really tell you. I haven't had it like on a gig where I'm like just trying to hurt people with it. So I don't really know. It feels really great. And it's got these beautiful lights on it, man. Have you ever had a gig where the lights just go off and you're going like, man, I hope this is an E flat. And then you start to try to find a dent in your neck that you know is right around E flat. I know I banged it against the table. Oh, it must be E flat. Yes.
How about reading music based on
Reading music is really important, and Anthony Jackson told me to say that. Because I usually go, man, that doesn't matter. But you know what? I can say that because I can read. You know what I mean? I was playing clarinet all my life. You know what I mean? Compared to clarinet music, the orchestral music, bass music is like a joke. You know? You know what I mean? It's like, it's not that hard. So I can say that, and I realized I was saying it from a very advantaged position. You know what I mean? But you should really learn how to read because then you don't have to be uptight. Here's another story. George Benson, we were on a Frank Sinatra day in New York. Quincy Jones was arranging and producing. Phil Ramone was the engineer, and the studio was full. It was the Brecker Brothers and Lionel Hampton and George Benson, like I said, and Steve Gadd, and just a million musicians in New York, and Frank Sinatra. Right? Frank hadn't shown up yet, and we just, we had these charts and we were kind of running stuff down. Everybody's just kind of going over the parts themselves, and George Benson sitting in the middle of the room, looking nervous as hell. I'm like, so I walk over to him and say, George, what's going on, man? He said, man, I hope Quincy remembers I ain't got no eyes, right? I said, man, let me see the chart. And as I looked at the chart, I said, don't worry about it, man. This is nothing you haven't played a million times. All you need to do is hear it. But still, I think deep down he knew that. But he was uptight, man. So Frank finally showed up, and we started the song. Frank sang his two chords, after you're gone. He sang the thing. And after the second chorus, he goes, okay, George, you take it, right? And George said, oh, this ain't nothing but some old usual like, woo! And he did his thing, right? And it sounded like George Benson. It was beautiful. But the thing was that he was so uncomfortable and so nervous because he's always worried that one day he's going to run into a situation where it's not something that he knows or not something he can figure out. And so I'm saying if you're a young person and you have a choice, why put yourself through that? Learn how to read. Because it's not difficult, it just takes time. You got to do it every day. And if you do it every day, you'll get better, and you don't have to worry about that. You get in any situation, and you'll feel comfortable. You'll be able to write music out for other musicians if you write something cool, right? And you'll be able to share. That's what reading music allows you to do. And Anthony Jackson will get really mad if you say don't learn how to read.
Do you have a favorite bass song, and can you play it?
Favorite bass song?
That you've done, or anybody else song?
Okay, I'll play a couple.